Bobby Dean, and you're watching Dante's
Boxing Nation.
Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, so it's pretty amazing to me that you have some boxers that are now changing their prediction, as we are now only a day away from this fight, or I say a day. For me, the fight is going to be tomorrow, Sunday morning. For you guys, I believe it's going to be tonight, because I'm on the other side of the planet. And I'll just tell you real quick, you know, one of the advantages of me getting to watch the fight Sunday morning is if the undercard sucks, I could sleep through all of that. You know, I don't have to wait all day, you know, when the fight usually comes on for you guys, like 6 p.m. on the West, or I guess 9 p.m. on the East. I usually wake up late anyway. Now, when there are like big fights like this, I might wake up early in the morning just to see what fight is on. And if that fight is whack, I'm gonna go back to sleep and probably wake up an hour later just to see what fight is on. So I feel that's my way of fast forwarding a live event. Now, when it comes to Naoya Inoue versus MJ, another fight I'm looking forward to, that fight is more in my neck of the woods. So I do watch the fights at the same time you guys will watch the fights out there in the States when it comes to fights in Japan. Okay, so with that all being surmised, getting back to Teofimo Lopez. Now, I want to show you guys what Teofimo Lopez said leading up to this fight not too long ago and what he's saying today. But before I play the clips, I just want to remind you guys, you know, I made a video the other day. If you didn't watch it, go ahead and watch it. It's a great breakdown where I reported the fact that Jaron Ennis has flip-flop on his prediction as well. You know, before Jaron was working with Canelo and training in his camp, he actually picked Canelo to win the fight. Now, for some reason, after he's already sparred with Canelo Alvarez, he's no longer picking Canelo to win the fight. He didn't pick Crawford to win the fight either. Now he's neutral. But I think that's really interesting, especially considering the fact that he has been in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. So it makes you wonder, did Jaron Ennis see some things that he felt that Terence Crawford will be able to take advantage of? Or was it just him going back and forth debating with his dad? Because while he was picking Canelo to win this fight, like I said, way before he entered Canelo's camp, his dad, Bozy Ennis, and trainer, he always picked and believed that Crawford was going to win this fight. In fact, Bozy Ennis, he said he wouldn't be surprised if Crawford stops Canelo Alvarez. So with that all being said, here, let's go ahead and get into this clip of what Teofimo Lopez had said a couple weeks ago.
What round does Crawford get knocked out? I'm going to put 8. Let's put it on the universe. So I'm going to put it on 8. 8. And if it goes the other way, I 8. You know, I 8.
Okay, so that's what he said a couple weeks ago. This is what he's saying today.
So, what do you think? We just had the press conference, or we just had the weigh-in, 167.5 for both guys.
Yeah.
We got a fight tomorrow. Yeah. What do you think about everything tonight?
I didn't get to see how they were facing off, but it's gonna be a fight, you know. May the best man win. I think Crawford got it, but, you know.
You think Crawford's got it?
Yeah.
Why is that? I heard yesterday that you said that you thought Canelo had it.
No, I didn't say that.
A little bit different, huh? Why is that you think that Crawford has it, Teo? You know Canelo. You train next to Canelo.
Yeah, I've known both guys.
Okay.
I think that it's just all about who wants him more, and I think that Crawford, he might want him more.
Did you guys notice the guy who was asking Teo questions? He said, why do you have Crawford winning this fight? I mean, you know Canelo. You know him personally. You trained with him. What this guy obviously doesn't understand is predictions are not based on which fighter you know better. A prediction is based on trying to break down the fight analytically. And this is why I always tell you guys, there's a difference between who you're rooting for and who you actually believe is going to win the fight. I'm sure Teofimo is rooting for Canelo Alvarez, but he just believes that Crawford is going to win the fight. Right? I mean, just because a fan predicts that Canelo Alvarez, he's going to beat Avni Yildirim, he's going to beat William Scoe, he's going to beat John Ryder, he's going to beat Berlanga, that doesn't just automatically make them a Canelo Alvarez fan. They just know that Canelo Alvarez is most likely going to win that fight. So it makes no sense when you're interviewing Tio and you're like, oh man, how could you do this? How could you do this to Canelo? I mean, you know him. You've even trained with him before. I mean, if Tio was to base his prediction on just that, then that means his prediction would not be sincere. It wouldn't be genuine, and therefore it wouldn't be an actual prediction. USA versus Mexico is the biggest boxing rivalry in the sport. This is the reason why you hear the Mexicans booing Terence Crawford so much, because when they see Crawford hop on that stage, it gives them PTSD. They see Pernell Whitaker beating Chavez, Frankie Rano beating Chavez. They see Floyd Mayweather beating Oscar De La Hoya, Juan Manuel Marquez, Canelo Alvarez. They see Junior Jones knocking out Marco Antonio Barrera. They see Shane Mosley beating Oscar De La Hoya. They see Freddie Norwood beating Juan Manuel Marquez. And if you guys notice, all of those fights that I just mentioned, those were the greatest Mexican fighters of all time. And those were the first losses they suffered on their undefeated records. At least everyone except for Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar's first loss was against Tito Trinidad. So this is what the Mexican fans see when Terence Crawford hops on that stage when it comes to the press conference, the weigh-in, and the fight tomorrow or tonight. But the difference from this fight and when all those other Americans were winning, they were fighting against Mexicans that were their same size. This will be the first time that an American is jumping up damn near 3 weight classes to do it. So Crawford is raising the bar. He's trying to outdo all the other American boxers. And I can tell you guys right now, as a fellow All-American, I'm rooting for my country, and I'm hoping that he pulls it off. Just like Mexico is rooting for their country. Matter of fact, speaking of that, did you guys hear some of those questions at the press conference? You had Mexican reporters get on the mic to ask Crawford or Canelo a question. This one Mexican, he grabbed the mic and the first thing he did was he shouted out, something, Viva Mexico, or he was shouting out, basically getting support from the Mexican fans, right? And then after that, he asked Crawford, how you going to deal with Canelo's Mexican power?
¿Qué tal el grito de los mexicanos? ¡Viva México, cabrones!
Go ahead, sir.
And for Terence, are you ready to feel the Mexican power, Terence?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
So it really amazes me that some of the Mexicans in my comment section, they were getting upset because we all Americans are rooting for the American. We are rooting for our own country, just like they're rooting for their country. I don't get it because I don't have a problem with Mexicans rooting for Mexico. So why do they have a problem with America rooting for the United States of America? Why do you guys think Japan is so loyal to Naoya Inoue? Why do you think the Philippines is so loyal to Manny Pacquiao? Why do you think Mexico is so loyal to Canelo Alvarez and Julio Cesar Chavez? So with that being said, like I said, when it comes to Tio, he is rooting for Canelo. He just believes that Terence Crawford is going to win the fight. I mean, even Mikey Garcia. Mikey picked Crawford to win the fight, but that doesn't mean that he's rooting for Crawford. I personally still don't know who's going to win this fight. All I can tell you is I'm rooting for Terence Crawford. I'm rooting for the American. Win, lose, or draw. But it says a lot when you have a racist like Teofimo Lopez, who has actually switched his prediction from Canelo Alvarez to Terence Crawford. That says a lot. I think a lot of people are surprised the way Terence Crawford looks at 168. But to me, looks don't really tell me anything. The only thing that's going to tell me something is how he looks in the ring in those first 3 rounds. If Terence Crawford is comfortable in the first 3 rounds, meaning he's winning those first 3 rounds, then he's going to win the fight. If Terence Crawford hasn't figured out Canelo Alvarez in the first 3 rounds, that's going to be a very bad sign to me. If Crawford is not hitting Canelo Alvarez with stiff, nice jabs at will in the first 3 rounds, that's a bad sign to me. If Crawford gets hit with more than 2 right hands within the first 3 rounds, that's a bad sign to me. Now, don't get me wrong. They're both going to get hit. It's a fight. But let's just do the math. If Crawford, let's say he gets hit with 3 mean right hands in the first 3 rounds, Crawford, he better double that. He better be landing 6 or 9 to Canelo Alvarez's 3. Because if it's 3-3, when it comes to Canelo's right hands and Crawford's left hands, that's not a good sign for Crawford. Speaking of left hands, I'm also anxious to see if Crawford is going to switch hit in this fight. Is he going to do what he does in some of his fights, which is start off as a right-hander and then switch? I think Crawford usually does that when he feels that it's an easier fight to win. You know, he could beat this guy in both stance. But usually, you know, when it gets serious, that's when he switches back southpaw, because really, Terrence Crawford is a southpaw. I don't think he's as much of a switch hitter as Jaron Ennis is. I honestly feel like Jaron Ennis, he actually is more comfortable switching as he fights throughout the entire fight, not just the first 2 rounds. But see, when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, Canelo is so susceptible to getting hit with jabs. I feel like Crawford, he'll be able to out-jab Canelo Alvarez in both stands. But I feel like as a southpaw, Canelo's right hand is going to be far more dangerous, obviously, right? Because whenever you're fighting against a southpaw, the right hand is the best weapon. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.